Morning. Let me make you a cup of coffee. So we're still stuck at home with winter weather. So last night we invited a neighbor over for dinner, and he's very like-minded when it comes to being self-sufficient. Like, he has the chickens and he's got the garden. And we were talking about how amazing leaves are. He'll mulch, or like he'll mow over his to make it finer and it breaks down easier, but I'm too lazy. I will just dump it all over my garden beds as a mulch to keep water retention there. And the risk with that is, like, insects will use the leaves as shelter over the winter so that they can survive. And so by me not, breaking them down, mowing them over, they're still intact. And so he's like, "Are you experiencing other like insect issues?" And I was like, you know what? I surprisingly haven't. I do experience the insect issues that you get when you try to grow squashes, which I highly recommend because squashes last throughout the winter. I still have some sitting over there. But you have to stay on top of the bugs. They will try to tear through your vines and then it's purposeless. But if you stay on top of them every morning for like a few minutes, getting rid of these bugs, feeding them to chickens, problem solved. But other than that, that's the only bug issue I've experienced. And I like firmly believe it is because of my incorporation of native plants. This is my rant on how awesome native plants are. Please stick with me because they are so good. Native plants, just love them. I am not a good gardener. That is the admission, or like I admit that. And the reason why is because you have to be a tough cookie to stay alive in my garden. I am not going to baby you. I'm not going to princess you. You got to be able to survive the environment this is. And native plants do that because they're used to the environment in which you live. And so, number one, you don't need to water them as much after they have like a little baby season where you tend to them and you make sure they have everything so they establish, because once they're established, they're there forever. And so they have the root system that can withstand drought, all the things. Another thing that they are amazing for is they are host plants for native insects. And you're like, why would you want to invite insects? It's not like roaches and gross stuff. It's like the pollinators and the beautiful things. And so by having them as a host plant where they can raise their young, because they are usually, a lot of bugs will only require one plant, or like they can only use one kind of plant. So if you plant that, they start showing up, and these bugs eat bugs. And so if you have an issue of bugs, invite the bugs by planting the plants they need to attack those bugs. And it really, like, my yard, it come like height of season, butterflies, other kinds of bugs that I'm not threatened by. They're beautiful. Like, it's very dynamic, and you just like walk through and it's wonderful because there's like butterflies and everything. But these bugs will also eat the threatening bugs. And I have not had any issues of like bugs eating my plants other than the normal, like, yeah, they eat the plants because that's their food source. But I've not also had any issues of like pollination, because a lot of times when we make clear monoculture things, there's not bugs to go visit the flowers that need to help pollinate these plants so they can keep producing fruit. I never have that issue because I invite the bugs by native plants. Seriously, if you are new to native plants and you're like, that's so overwhelming, just look up Wild Ones Your City and see if there's one near you. Wild Ones is an organization that teaches you all about the benefits of native planting, and they're great teammates to help you get started, for real. While planting your garden and all that stuff, skip the ornamentals that don't do anything and go for the beautiful native flowering plants, because yeah, it's like a flower. I used to be of the belief that like if it's a flower, it doesn't help me. It's just cute. No, get the native plants. They are beautiful, but they also have all those advantages such as low maintenance and inviting beneficial insects to your garden that will help tend to your garden in a way that's hands off for you, for real. I love you. We got this. Let's go.